This video is about how to stay strong after walking away. And there are 4 principles you must remember so you can stay strong after deciding to cut people out, walk away from them. To find out what those 4 principles are, please stay tuned to this video. Welcome to the SCG Show, the home of education entertainment, and please do me a favor, if you really enjoyed this video, smash that like button. I would really appreciate it. At the point of me recording this video, one of the most popular videos on this channel is the video The Power of Walking Away, but obviously that can all change. But that video is about how there's so much power in walking away from toxic people, relationships, or a situation. I was raised to not be violent by parents. I was told never to be hateful with my words if I can be. I've seen people ruin their lives by acting out, committing acts of violence for revenge. I've also seen people humiliate themselves for letting their emotions get the worst of them. But walking away, metaphorically and physically, is a fantastic solution. It requires no attention to do so. It can be done smoothly and quietly, and it has tremendous power. Walking away includes obviously going no contact, possibly blocking off social media, WhatsApp, leaving or moving out, and planning your future life without those people no longer in it. Walking away from a person is basically standing up for yourself and what you believe is right. You've come to a logical conclusion and you should pat yourself on the back for doing so. Well, what happens after you walk away, when that adrenaline rush inevitably goes down, when the reality kicks in that you're alone again or you feel lonely? That's when the real test of resilience and belief sets in. I've successfully walked away from a lot of people in my life. I don't say that proudly. It breaks my heart that I've had to do so, and I've lost so many friends, exes, and even family along the way. But I also do not regret any of the decisions I have made to do so. And there is power behind it, and I have gained vast experience in doing so. Hence, the reason behind this post. People say, thank you for inspiring me to walk away. But how do I stay strong? How do I keep it together after walking away? In a weird way, walking away is actually the easy part. This is the real test. So here we go. Here is how to stay and remain strong after walking away. Walking away is actually the easy part in the beginning. The hard part is the recovery, the acceptance, the healing. When I walked away from a toxic relationship, which was really bad, it was relatively straightforward. We fought a lot. I realized they were toxic and narcissist. I eventually built up the courage to check out and said it was over for good. Thank God. I cut contact, blocked, removed reminders within 24 hours. I threw away photos. I refused to meet and talk about it further. It was over. You may think that's really harsh and hard to do, but when you date a narcissist and you realize what they truly are, it's quite simple. The next stage was tough. The first evening alone, without them. No more calls or texts. Realizing you're back to being single again. Seeing how much damage you've taken over the course of a toxic relationship. The first weekend where you would normally be out on a date, but instead you're at home eating a meal for one. The first Valentine's, the first Christmas, other harsh reminders. This may sound easier said than done, but I told myself the following. Look, this is going to suck. Initially, I said to myself. It's part of the decision. And I must stand by the decision, but over time and eventually, things get easier. And as time went on, and the longer it got, and I remained no contact, it did get easier. You can't allow a toxic person back in, not even to chat. You'll get hoovered. Hence why I blocked them and kept it that way. And despite many nights of being in tears and alone and desperate and depressed, it got easier. However, several months later, the pandemic started, and then I lost my dad. I had no choice but to tackle my grief head on. I was locked down and to heal. I have no ill feelings to my ex. I wish them the best. But in no way will I go back to them. Because I've healed from the trauma, the pain, the relationship and the mistakes. If you stare into the abyss long enough, the abyss starts to stare back at you. That is how you're going to remain strong. You must heal. Are you enjoying this video? If you are, please hit the like button. I would really appreciate it. Another important tip and reason for you to remain strong after walking away is a very harsh and brutal truth. People don't change, rarely. Ask yourself the following question and try and be honest, okay? How often have you changed in your life? How much have you changed? Have you made the sacrifices and stuck to them? Now, I'm not suggesting people never change. I was a gambling addict for 14 years, but I've remained clean and sober for 2 with no desire to gamble again. But is that really changing? And in my opinion, it's not. I believe that's cutting a habit out of my life that was toxic and dangerous. I educated myself that gambling was doing more harm than good, and I've eliminated that desire, that need to ever bet again. I wake up happy, never thinking or wanting to ever gamble, and that is truly amazing. Now, has that changed my entire personality? My quirks and what makes me who I am, quirks and all? No. I'm probably the same person I was who gambled, but maybe less irritable and angry and stressed. People rarely change. That's why you're walking away, remember? You're walking away because you evaluated what your life is like with these toxic people around you, aka a burden, stressful, difficult, negative, miserable. Have you tried reasoning with them? But where's that got you? You've given them multiple chances. They've failed them all. You've tried to explain boundaries, yet they still abuse their powers. Throw in the towel. It doesn't make you weak. Give up because you cannot please the unpleasable. Satisfy the unsatisfied. And on top of that, it's not your job to change these people or anyone else. The only thing you can actually change is your surroundings and your personal circumstances. Remind yourself you have left and walked away because you're not qualified or able to change them, and don't take that personally. Those who want to change genuinely do so. But again, that is really rare. To stay strong after walking away, you got to remind yourself why you did in the first place. Our emotions are going to get the best of us. We often have very short memories. We all do. We turn the other cheek and we're like, you know what? I was being harsh. Come back into my life. A woman once stole money from her family, returned after a decade. And then when she returned, it was like the crime never happened. They hugged her, welcomed her back. She cried tears of joy. Why did I ever stop talking to you? I love you all. Fast forward only a few months later, and once again she scammed her family out of even more money and fled the country for good. A leopard doesn't change its spots. When I walk away from someone, a relationship, a friend, a deal, a family member, I'll write down a list of the things that's happened and they've done. Because again, our goldfish memories will allow them to hoover back into our lives. I'd write in detail all they've done wrong, what has led me to the logical conclusion of cutting them out. And I even went as far as making an audio version, so I'd walk down the street, and whenever I'd be triggered or get reminded of something like an ex or something, I would just play the audio of they've done this, they've cheated on you, they've whatever, and then immediately I'm okay. Walking away means walking away. It means cutting out that toxic element of your life and letting in good and better people instead. Do yourself a favor and sit down somewhere where you won't be disturbed with a notepad and a pen and write down the reasons you are hurt, upset, betrayed by the people you've walked away from. List it in detail. Have a good, serious think. And when you're done, keep that list to yourself. And obviously after walking away, remind yourself as often as possible as that list. Maybe read it every day, several times a day, out loud, until that penny drops. Do not act on a whim here. I guarantee you this is an enormously powerful and important step to remaining strong. Remind yourself why you have walked away. Now, speaking firsthand here, things will get so much better for you once you stay away after walking away and remain strong. I assure you and promise you that the grass is greener. Look at the alternative if you don't stay away after walking away. You will welcome in more arguments, drama, stress, issues, problems, abuse, potential violence, gaslighting, manipulation, mind games, insomnia, and so on. You know what life will be like if you don't stay away. Most likely, you might be a reasonable, empathetic person. You've tried explaining all the problems and issues you've had to endure. Where's that got you? It's got you to walking away. And after you do the healing, recovery, and improvement of your boundaries, life gets better. Trust me, you attract better people, opportunities, circumstances. You just have so much more fun. It will be painful and hard initially, but after time, that passes. And one day you'll be sat somewhere with somebody else, or even on your own, and take a huge sigh of relief because it feels good to be toxic free. I know I did. That's how you stay strong after walking away. Thanks for watching.